Yo, yo, yo. What up, YouTube? YouTube. What's the dealio? What is the dealio? It's Monday. It's a trader Sunday. So we about to go in, man. We about to talk about the market this week. We about to talk about what's about to go down. All right. So if you just tuning in, man, say what's up. Say what's up. Let me know where you tuning in from. What up, Adam? What up, William? What up, Best Beezy? What's the dealio? Yeah, man, I just got back from Panama. Just got back to Colombia earlier today. So I'm feeling good, man. I'm ready for a new week. Right? Ready for a new week. What's up, Shali? Yeah. It's Sunday, man. Who ready to get some money this week in the stock market? Who ready to get some money this week in the stock market? QTZ. QTZ. What up, QTZ? What up, Best Beezy? QTZ and Best Beezy? What's the dealio, y'all? Listen, we got a brand new week, man. We got Nvidia earnings this week. All right. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Orlando, what up? Orlando, he said, I'm in Austin, Texas, in the building. I'm Panamanian. Hey, that's what's up. Hey, Orlando, what part of Panama are you from? What part of Panama are you from? Yeah, we was out there all weekend. Loved it. Loved it. All right. Like, I feel like I'm on cloud nine. You know what I'm saying? I was high off of life this weekend. You feel me? William said I'm fiending. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good week, man. What up, Side Jack? Hey, be sure to like this video, y'all. All right, let's get 100 likes on this video. All right, let's get 100 likes on this video. All right. That's all I ever asked for, y'all. Y'all know I'm about to bring the heat. Y'all know I'm about to drop some sauce on you today. Right? Every single live, you know I'm coming with it. All right? So like this video for me. All right? So check it out, man. This week, let's go over earnings real quick. All right? Let's go over earnings and let's get into it. I don't want to waste y'all time. All right, what up, Moneybag Jeff? What's up? All right, what we got? Been studying all weekend. Adam is ready. He ready this weekend. Let's go, man. I'm excited for everybody. I'm excited. Hey, if you are not in the Discord, man, be sure to join the Discord. We got a 7-day trial, all right? Be sure to join the Discord, like this video, all right? This week is going to be crazy. I'm telling you. It's going to be crazy. All right, so let's see what we got popping off this week with earnings. Look, let's go. We about to get into it. What up, Josh? Look, all right, so this week, man, we got Okta. We got Nvidia is the biggest one right here. We got Salesforce. All right. Foot Locker, they probably going to miss on earnings. And then I feel like Foot Locker is going down. Foot Locker is going down, down, down. And then we got Dell. And then we got Costco as well. Okay. Costco is a stock to pay attention to. I will say. Costco is a stock to pay attention to. All right. Don't be sleeping on Costco. Costco, and they're a dividend stock too. They are expensive, but Costco is a stock to be paying attention to. All right. They're a crazy mover when we're talking about trading stocks too. All right. But we got Nvidia. All right. We got Nvidia. All right. So we got Nvidia. All right. Wednesday after the market closes, we got Nvidia. All right. So Joshua said, I've been studying all weekend. I'm ready. Best Beezy. Yeah. All right. So look, man, if you're watching this, be sure to like this video. All right. So I was looking at the market, right? I was looking at the market. So here's the thing. News, okay, pay attention to the news, got it. But you want to pay attention to the charts and technical analysis, and then you want to look at, these stocks balance statements and stuff like that, right? And their fundamentals. But the charts are going to tell you where the money is going, all right? I want you guys to understand this right here, all right? You got to learn how to read the charts. You have to learn how to read the charts, all right? So let me give you something real quick, all right? So if you learn how to read the charts, you can get ahead of moves that are in the market. Let me give you an example, right? So Shali, last week, she was like, oh, Apple is on a double top, blah, 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 right? It's about to drop. They got a gap to fill. So she got in a swing trade on Apple, right? On Friday, before the market opened up, news came out that pushed the stock down, okay? So if she was paying attention to the news, if she was focusing on the news, she would have missed that move. Because if you paying attention to the news, you already late. If you are paying attention to the news, you are already late. Hear what I'm saying? All right? This is why you got to pay attention to the charts. You got to pay attention to the charts. All right? The charts are going to tell you where a stock is going. All right? So stop trying to pay attention to the news. Like, yes, you can benefit from a news catalyst, right? But the stocks are going to, the charts are going to tell you where the stock is going. This is how you predict stuff, all right? Now, hear me out, right? So now, when I'm looking at the market, this is what happened. We already know Trump playing his games that he likes to play, right? If you tuning in, man, be sure to like this video, all right? But we know that Trump like playing these games, right? All right, so tariff stuff happened about the tariffs, and then the stock market came down. It didn't crash. It just had a little pullback. Stuff gapped down. I'm going to show you where some things gapped down too. All right, but watch this. Things came down, and now let's see where the futures is at. Well, futures opened up, right? So let's look. Let's look in the after hours right now. After hours right now, stocks they're up a little bit. Some stocks are up, some stocks are flat right now. Okay. Let me look at my my swings I'm in. All right, so Hood is up, MU is up, but this is just futures overnight, okay? We still don't know how these stocks are gonna open up once the market opens up, okay? All right, what up, that boy Jay Honey? Hey man, I got it in Panama, man. I'm feeling good, man. All right, we just got back to Colombia, but I'm feeling good. But yeah, stocks are up overnight right now, but we don't know how they're gonna open when the market opens. But don't get tricked out of your positions, all right? If you're in some swings, let's say puts, don't get tricked out of your position, because I'm here to tell you that the market still has to come down. I know that right now things are up, right? But they could just be trying to make stocks come up to finish the month out strong. We don't know that yet, right? This is the last week of the month, right? I'm in a couple swing puts, but I'm not about to panic sell out tomorrow if stocks are up, because based on the technicals, we are going to be coming down still. All right? So we're going to go in the charts, and we're going to look at the market, and I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, right? I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing and what I'm paying attention to. So let's look at the SPY first. All right, let's look at the SPY, because you already know the SPY is the actual stock market, all right? My foot I'm in, I'm in are just going sideways. Okay, yeah, sideways. Okay, so check this out, y'all. All right, so this is the SPY, right? Okay. So let's go. This is the daily time frame right here. So look what the SPY did. All right, look what the SPY did on Friday. So this is on Thursday, right? This is on Thursday. We have some bearish divergence. No, this is some hidden divergence right here. All right, but on Thursday, a lot of selling pressure came in. Okay, so it opened up right here. It came up, and then sellers pushed it right back down. All right. The next day, it gapped down right here, and then it came up, and then sellers pushed it down some more. Okay, but look where it came down to. It came down to this gap right here. Okay, came down to this gap right here. So this is a gap that has to be filled. The gap is from 568 to 576. All right, so it closed inside of this gap right here. So right now in after hours, let me see where the SPY is sitting at. Right now, the SPY is sitting at 585, which is up $5.99, right? $6. So the SPY is currently at 5 around right here, okay? But that does not mean that the SPY can't come down here end of the week, top of next week, okay? That does not mean that, because I want you guys to understand that the S&P 500, the stock market, all stocks, they're all about balance. All right, that's why we had a pullback from 593 all the way down to 576. And right now we're at 585, but we could really be coming down here to 567 before we do go back up higher. Or we could come up a little bit higher and then come back down to fill this gap right here, because this is a big gap right here. All right, so I want you guys to understand that this gap is pretty wide, right? And this is from 576 to 560. That's a $9 gap right there. Okay, that's gonna come and get filled. It's going to come and get filled. All right, so don't get tricked out of your position thinking that we just about to go to 620, right now, right? 603, right? Don't be thinking that it's just about to be super sweet, because we got this right here brewing. All right, and at any point in time, we could come hit this. Now, it could be a wick. I'm not saying it's going to be a closure of a candle, but I am saying that it could be a wick or it could be a closure, and we could come down here and bounce off this 200 EMA and then go back to the upside. All right. So yeah. And then he said on a month time frame. So I was just looking at the monthly time frame last week on SPY, but let's look at it real quick together, right? On the monthly time frame, look at SPY. All right, so look at this. This is this month. This is a lot of selling pressure right here. A lot of selling pressure right here, okay? Now, last month, a lot of buying pressure. It was at 482 and it came all the way up. So that's a lot of buying pressure, right? But a lot of selling pressure too. So I am a firm believer that at some point in time, we are going to come down to that 566 so that we could fill the gap. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I do know that with what I know about the market now, that we're going to come and we're going to fill that gap right there off of the daily time frame. This is the monthly, right? But off of the daily time frame, this is a lot of selling pressure right here, okay? Now, so if we was going up, it would be looking more like this, right? You see how like we had buying pressure and then more buying pressure, and then it was just going up, right? We didn't have a lot of like big wicks to the upside, right? There's some selling pressure here, but then immediately buyer stepped in and was like, nah, we going to the upside, right? But right here, we got buying pressure, but then we got a lot of selling pressure right there. So we're going to see what happens next month, but I think that we're coming down to 567 at least. I think sometime within the next couple weeks before we get a bounce to the upside to go higher. All right. So that's what I'm seeing with the market. When I say the market, I'm talking about the SPY. Okay. So I want you guys to just be clear. Like, don't get overzealous. Don't get overzealous thinking that, oh, the market is only about to go up, right? Stocks could go up for the first 2 days of the week, and then they could go down. Or they could go down the first 2 days of the week and then they could go up, right? Because let me tell you what they're going to do with the market. And before I tell you this, I want to say this. Listen, like this video. Let's get this live to 100 likes, all right? I show up consistently every Sunday throughout the week. I'm dropping videos every single day, all right? So let's be sure to get these likes up, all right? Get this video to 100 likes for me, all right? Because I'm about to give y'all a level, support, and resistance and all of that, all right? So with that being said, what was I about to say? So yeah, the SPY is about to go up, or it's about to go up, about to go down. We gonna see, but let's look at the levels, okay? Let's look at the levels on SPY, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let y'all know some stocks, all right? I'm gonna let y'all know some stocks. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say about the week. So the SPY and also the market, it could go up the first 2 days of the week and then down the rest of the week. It could come down the first 2 days of the week and then go up the last part of the week, right? We don't know what's gonna happen. But what we do know is there has to be volatility in order for like the market to balance out and make sense. All right. So you want to make sure that when you're getting in these trades, you're getting in at the right place. And if you are getting at the wrong place, you have enough time on your side and in your contract for the play to become a green trade. All right. And sometimes you got to learn when it's time to add to a play or add to a trade rather than just sell out of your position. All right. And that's what I mean when I say don't get tricked out of your position. All right. So yeah. So you don't know if the market is going to go up or down. And because here's what I've learned in the market too. Whenever you have a big gap up, right? Whenever you have a big gap up, the stock market ain't going to just like keep letting the market go up. And whenever you have a big gap down, they ain't going to just keep letting the market keep going down, right? So here's usually what happens. When we have a big sell-off, it's either going to be a gap down or it's going to be a day where we didn't gap up or we didn't gap down. You ain't going to be able to see it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, pay attention to what I'm saying right now. You're not going to be able to see it. It's going to be one of them days where you think we going up, right? You think we going up. You're going to get in some calls. It's going to be right at resistance. You're going to get in some calls. It's going to reverse harshly. And then we're going to have a sell-off. And the stock that you get in is going to be down 3 to 5% on a day. That's how they're going to get you, right? They're not going to gap the stocks down and then it just keep going lower and lower and lower. That happens rarely, okay? They ain't going to gap the stocks up and then it's just going to keep going crazy and crazy. They're not going to just give you, you know what I'm saying, a $8 move on a silver platter. Every now and then you're going to get that trade that's on a silver platter. But a lot of times they're going to make you work for it, right? They're going to make you work for it. That's why if you swinging puts and calls, you need to give yourself time. You need to give yourself time because it ain't always going to work how you think. All right. So when you see crazy gap ups, I want you to understand that it ain't always going to be like that. It ain't, you see green don't mean that it's just going to keep going up. That's how they trick you. That's how they play you. All right? That's why I say pay attention to the actual charts. Pay attention to the money. Pay attention to where the money is going. Pay attention to your technical analysis. All right? That's how you really like long-term be successful with trading. All right? So we're going to go in the market and the charts, and I'm going to show y'all some stuff. All right? Yeah, big money. You can't get in like me and you, so they have to make you go up and down. Yeah, exactly. They need their orders filled because they got order blocks, right? They got order blocks, right? So watch this. So here's what's happening, all right? We're going to go on the charts, and I'm going to show y'all some things. So everybody this week, what is everybody paying attention to this week? Everybody this week is paying attention to what? What they paying attention to, y'all? Put it in the comments. What is everybody going to be paying attention to this week in the stock market? What is everybody paying attention to? I know y'all know. What's everybody paying attention to? I know it's a lag, so I'm giving it a quick second. All right. Yep. Exactly, right? Nvidia earnings, okay? So watch this. So everybody paying attention to Nvidia, right? Now, if we didn't have earnings, we would say that Nvidia is coming down. So let's go to the Nvidia chart, and let me show y'all something. All right, like this video if you have not already. All right, like this video if you have not already, because this is $1 million worth of game right here, like legit. All right, so look. All right, so look at Nvidia, right, on a daily time frame. All right. If Nvidia did not have earnings this week, right? If they did not have earnings this week, we would say that they about to come down. Okay? Now look, Nvidia was at 95, really 85, but let's say 95. All right? And they came from 95 all the way to 135, right? Okay. And then look what started to happen. They started to decline and come down, right? Because they had a run up right here, we got a gap right here, right? And we got a gap right here. Okay? So we got two gaps, and that would bring us down to 118. Okay, 118. Now, a strong resistance for Nvidia is 115, right? This is a pretty strong resistance. If you zoom out, 115 is a strong level. So it has two gaps that it needs to fill. Okay. So even though everybody is super optimistic about Nvidia, does not mean that they're just about to go up. And even if they do go up after earnings, I'm still very confident that they're going to end up coming back down about 118, and then they could go up into the upside and bounce up. But we got two gaps right here to fill, right? We just had a crazy like run up. We got two gaps to fill right here, and we got another small one right here that could be bringing it down to 109. Okay? And if you look at Nvidia's history, I want y'all to see. All right? This was a double bottom right here. Okay? But if you zoom out a little bit more on Nvidia, ever since last year, they've been doing the same thing. Okay? So look. Last year, I remember this is when I started trading. It was right here at 95, came down to 74, but this is before they stock split, okay? So we're going to say boom. So they came up here, right? Let me turn off these Bollinger Bands. All right. So look, so Nvidia came up here, right here, right, to 140. And then look where they came, 117. Then they came up here to 136, well, 135, right? 135. Right, that's where they're at right now, 135, right? And then they came down, boom, to 90, right? Then they came right here to 131. Then they came right here to 102, right? 101, 102. This is a double bottom. Then they came up here, right, to 151, 1/6, and then they came back down to 126, came up to all-time highs, right? Then they came down, boom, right? Came right back here to 147. They came all the way down to 112 again, right? And then look what happened. Boom. Came down to 142, came up to 142. Then what they do? They came right back down, 105, okay? Came right here to 122, came down to 85, created another double bottom just like this, right? Came up here to 137. So look, a double bottom, and then they came up here, right? And then they started to create a little downtrend. So it's another double bottom right here, boom. So what happens after NVIDIA's double bottom? It starts to decline a little bit, right? So, and then we got these two gaps right here to fill. Y'all see what I'm saying? So even if they beat earnings, I truly do believe that they're going to come down to fill these gaps first before they go up higher and higher and higher. All right. So that's what's up with Nvidia. All right. 9 times out of 10, when Nvidia's pumping, the SPY does too. Absolutely. I kind of look at it as we got gaps to fill before we go back up. Exactly. It depends on the chart because it could take a year to fill. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. But because we're so close to these gaps, right? Like on Friday, we entered into some of these gaps. Okay. So it did bounce, but I'm like, unless the market just pumps. But see, here's what I'm seeing in the market, right? If you watching this, be sure to like this video. All right, let's get to 100 likes. But I feel like, and what I'm seeing is they're trying to hold up the market, right? I think they're trying to hold up the market because the other things that are like pointing to the economy, not everything is just pointing to it to go to the upside. I know Trump keeps saying these things, but I personally think that we are going to come down a little bit more before we go to the upside, right? And there's multiple stocks that I see reasons why it should be coming down, right? Let me look at another one. Let me show you another one. Let's look at where's that? Look at HIMS. Okay. This is HIMS on the daily time frame. I think HIMS could be coming down. Is this on the weekly, I think? Okay, boom. So on the weekly time frame, right? On the weekly time frame, I see a fair value gap on HIMS, right? Look. Boom, 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 right here, right? So I see a fair value gap right there, right? 3 candle sequence, bounced off the 50, boom, had a parabolic move, right? Okay, started to come down a little bit. Now, this could just be a slight pullback and then it goes up to like $72, $73, or we could start coming down here and come pull back to this 9 EMA right here, which would be 45.38, right? Or 45.38 right here, okay? So I think that for HIMS, we could come down to about $45, right? This is what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking, okay? Now, let's go to Robinhood. Robinhood. This is on the weekly, right? Look what happened. It was up here, came down, boom, right? Came up, tested that level, rejected. Okay, rejected. Now it came down right here to 59.52 last week, right? But on a daily time frame, that didn't happen. That 59 level 57 was last Thursday. Okay. It wasn't this past Thursday. It was the Thursday before this past Thursday, right? So we looking at it, and I'm seeing this right here. So look, it came up, boom, boom, rejected off of here. If you would have seen this pattern right here on a 30-minute time frame, you would be getting in the puts, okay? So why would I not get in the puts right here on a daily time frame if I would get in the puts if I see this on the 30-minute? It may take a little bit longer to pan out, but I still think that Robinhood is coming down unless it breaks above here. But look, Robinhood is also overbought on the RSI right here. It's been overbought. It's, up, down. But also, when you see a cup and a handle and it breaks out, the stock usually comes back down to retest the handle, okay? Let me show you what I mean. Let's go to crypto. Let's go to Coinbase, all right? Let's look. If we look at the daily time frame and we zoom out, right? I'm gonna go to my cup and handle. Okay, it's October, boom. All right, so look, this was this was the cup and handle, right? So we got a cup right here, and then we got this handle, and then it broke out, right? So, and then you can look at it on the weekly as well, and then it looks a little bit clearer, right? So look, this is a cup and handle pattern. All right, so check it out. So you got the cup, right? And then, what date was this? Yeah, you got the cup, and then you got the handle right here, right? This is on 24. Some people, like on a weekly, some people will say this is a more defined handle right here, okay? And this is when I entered into the trade. So you got a cup and then a handle. This is a small handle, but it ain't like a real handle because this is the real handle, right? So look, gonna go to right here. All right, so you got the handle right here, boom, right? Boom. So this is the handle, and then it breaks out, right? It breaks out. This is the trend line right here. So it didn't break above right here. When you have a cup and handle, it usually comes up to here. It rejected right below it, right? And then it consolidated for a minute after this move. And then on a cup and handle, what happens is it will come back down to test where it broke out from the handle, right? So it'll come back down and it'll test right here, and then it'll bounce off and it'll go back to the upside, and that's exactly what it's doing. So that's why Coinbase, if you look at Coinbase, it broke out. I caught this whole move right here, and then it came back down to retest where it broke out from, and then it bounced off. It came a little lower, bounced off, and now it's right back up, right? And so it's trying to get back up to here and break above right here. So if we go back to Robinhood, right? If we go back to Robinhood, so look, so we see a cup right here, okay? We see the cup right there. And then we see a handle right here, okay? Boom and boom. So we see a handle right there, and now it broke out, right, to right here, okay? Now, if it breaks above here, then it's gonna go here, but it's gonna come back down and retest where it just broke out from, okay? Where it just broke out from. So if we see it break above 60, 67, then it's gonna go to like 84 because it's gonna retest here, or a little bit below. It may go to like 79. And then it's gonna end up coming back down here because it has to retest where it just broke from, and then it's gonna go right back to the upside. All right? So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. That's literally that's literally how cup and handles work. So when I'm looking at Robinhood, I'm like, okay, it's about to come back down and retest where it just broke out from. Right? Even if it does go up a little higher, it's gonna come back down and retest where it just came from. Because you gotta think, this is why it's so important to be able to read those charts and understand what's going on and like understand like where institutions are like putting in their money and pulling out their money. Okay? Facts about paying attention to the charts. Exactly, Geneva. Trump paused tariff on the first week of July. Yeah, and so he gonna do something else. He gonna say something else, and he gonna make the market come back down again, right? So it's like this is what I be saying when I'm saying like it's all a game. Is that the start of a cup and handle on a? Is that the start of the handle on a cup on the handle of hymns? Let's go look. So go long in some out the money yellow contracts. Yeah, right, Mason. Hey, if you know me, you know I ain't gonna say go out the money on these swings unless you know for a fact it's about to hit that price very fast. All right, but let's look at hymns because I think yes, Best Beezy. Let me look real quick. So we got hymns, right? So we got hymns. All right. So this is on the weekly. So so this could like so here's the thing. If we come in a little bit and we bring it in, some may say that this is a cup, this is a handle, and then it's a breakout, right? Some may say that. If we go to, that's on a weekly. If we go to the daily time frame, I wouldn't really say like, this is 24. I wouldn't really say it is. Now, potentially, this could be the start of a cup, but we got to see what happens. But that would mean that Hims is about to start coming down and going to be trading around $25 to $32 for the next couple of years, right? Because cup and handles, if you look at Coinbase, look at this cup and handle. Look at how long it was down here for, right? It was trading between $31 and let's say like this is a range like $87 from 2022 all the way to 2023, so like a year. So it was in this range for a whole year, right? So I don't know if Hims is going to be trading in that range for like a year or a year and a half straight. All right, because if this is the start of a cup and handle or like a cup, then it could come all the way down here and then it could be trading from here to like here for like a couple years or a year. So I don't know. I don't personally think so, but obviously we're gonna see what happens in the future. Right? So I never pulled the trigger on that Chewy cup and handle on the daily. Okay. Yeah, it don't look like a cup yet. All right. So yeah. So now let's look at some stocks that I'm looking at this week, right? So obviously, it's the last week of May. So I'm finishing out my Alibaba, my Google, and also my MU. So let's look at those first real quick. So MU is in a very interesting place. because look what happened. So MU right now is in the middle, right? So watch this. So boom, right? Gotta zoom out a little bit. All right, cool. So MU came, it got a gap to fill down here and it got a gap to fill up here. So it came down, it rejected off of this and it started to come down. Came inside of this gap and it bounced off a little bit and now it came up, right? So it's about right here. But me personally, I think that it's still going to be coming down to this 86 level at some point in time. I think maybe over the next couple weeks, because that's right there under that 200 EMA as well, right? And it closed under it, all right? So me personally, I think that MU is going to be coming down to fill this gap, and then we could see it go to the upside, all right? Because it was right there, all right? So I do think MU is going to come down. It could start off strong this week, and then it could come to the downside at the end of the week or next week to start out the month. All right. So that's MU. We got Google. Okay. Look at Google, right? If we look at Google, give me 1 second. If we look at Google right here on a daily time frame, okay, Google is in an interesting spot as well, because look at it. It rejected off of this level right here, this 175 level, right? It rejected strong too. Look at that. All right, so it came from 145 or 150, 148, and it came up here, right? It was resilient too. It had some red days and everything. Came up to 175 and it rejected, and then boom, right? Came right back down. All right. If we look at the aftermarket hours right now with Google, we are at Google is at 170. Okay. So Google is currently at 170. All right. So it's at about right here. Okay. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow, but Google could come down to like 165 to test this 9 EMA right here, right? It could come and test this 9 EMA right here, all right? But it's right there at the it bounced off of the 200 EMA on a daily time frame. So look, Google bounced off the 200 EMA. The SPY did it bounce? It came, it's almost at the 200 EMA right here. Hood, is it at the, oh no, it's super high above the 200 EMA, right? It ain't even close to the 200 EMA, but it's right at the 9 EMA right here. What was the other stock I was looking at? HIMS. It's pretty far away from the 200 EMA as well. There's another thing with HIMS too. This 9 EMA is starting to curl down. All right. So what that means is it could be trying to cross over to the 21 EMA to signal a downtrend. All right. So that is possible as well. It's starting to curl down. So you see how like some stocks you'll see, like if you look at Bitcoin, you see how this 9 EMA right here is just up. It isn't curling yet, right? It's just up. But it's up. But as you can see on HIMS, the 9 EMA is actually curling, and that's why the stock is coming down, right? So you want to start paying attention to when an EMA starts to curl, you're gonna start to see some more like red action and selling pressure, because it's curling, which means that the stock is kind of trying to come down a little bit, right? So and if you can get in and like, get ahead of that, then you'll definitely be able to make money and get ahead of those moves. But yeah, so this one right here, it looks like it's starting to want to curl a little bit, We may have like another green day or so, but I think that we're gonna see this curl as well, and this start to come down also. That's just what I personally believe, right? Look at MU. Yep, look at that. The 9 EMA right here. The 9 EMA is starting to curl down too. All right, starting to curl. Okay, so even though we up right now in after hours, I think that we're gonna see some selling pressure, and it's gonna, you know, they're gonna bull trap the market. All right. So yeah. And then we got Alibaba. Let's look at them. Alibaba looks like it looked like it might be time to swing some puts on Alibaba and ride it down to like shit. We could ride Alibaba all the way down to like 110. Cause we got a gap to fill right here. Where we at? We got a gap to fill right here. Okay. Boom. All right. The EMAs are about to cross over. The 21 is about to cross over to 9. Okay. And so that means that we could come up a little bit. We could come up to like 122. And then we could reject off of that. And then we could come all the way down to 110. All right. If we lose this level right here, if we lose 117.78 on Alibaba, then we definitely could be coming down to 110. All right. So that's what I think about Alibaba. Okay. So I'm paying attention to HIMs now. Here's a stock that I like. All right. Here's a stock that I like. I think I'm about to swing them on some longer term. Maybe like 3 to 6 months out. Is Block, which is XYZ. Okay. They have this this gap right here up to $82 from 76 to 82. Now they also have a downside gap over here down to 51.16, right? So 51.16 up to 52.89. So it could come down to about 51 bucks, $52. And it could bounce here, and then it could go parabolic, and it could go above. It could break through here, 63. Break above right here at 67. And once we get above this 200 EMA, we could go all the way up to $82 very fast. All right. So I really like XYZ for a long-term swing. I'm thinking about 4 to 6 months out. I think that by the end of the year, this thing could be back at $82. It was trading at 96, right? It was up here at 96, 99 back in December. I was making money with them around this range right here. Okay. So yeah, you see it tweezed right here, and then it started to come down. But yeah, I think that we're going to see Block is going to come back up to at least $82 at some point in time this year. Above $60. So if we can see it close above right here, this level right here, just call it $60 even, then you can see it come to $63 to $64. All right. And if we get above there, then we're going to really be nice. All right. But we have bullish divergence right here. Okay. So yeah. GME. Roaring Kitty is back. Oh Lord, is he? Hey, if Roaring Kitty is back, it's gonna be a crazy stock market, right? It's gonna be a crazy time in the stock market for sure. All right. So yeah, so those are some stocks that I'm looking at. This is gonna be a very interesting week for sure. But yeah, what stocks are you guys looking at? I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling generous. So let me know what stocks you have. Let me know what stocks you guys are looking at, and I'll go look at it on the charts right here before we for the next like 5-10 minutes. All right. So drop some stocks that you wanna kind of like get an analysis on, and then we'll look at them real quick. Let me know in the comments. All right. Let me know. I need to let the people know to watch out for imposters. I thought one of them was you for a second. What happened, Jimenez? What happened? Let me know what happened. All right, let's start with AMD. All right. Yeah, like this video, y'all. Let's get this video to 100 likes, all right? So we got Enphase, Palantir. We'll look at Palantir. Let's look at AMD. Let's start with AMD, all right? Let's go. All right. So let's look at AMD. So here we go. So AMD, right? So it broke up here. So boom. All right. So when I'm looking at AMD, this is the weekly. Let me look at the daily. All right. So excuse me. All right. So we got, this was a low. Boom. All right. So that wasn't nothing. Came up. Now we have a higher. We got a high right here. It's not bearish divergence, but it's coming down. So it rejected off this 200 right here. We got this level of 116.03. It came lower. We got a gap to fill right here. So 102. So let me see where AMD is at right now. So right now AMD is at 112. So right now AMD is at 112. So it's like right around here. But that's like the 9 EMA right here. So it could reject off of there. And then we could see it come down to like 102 over the next week, maybe, or maybe like 2 to 4 days potentially. But that 9 EMA is starting to curl, which means that it's trying to come down and have this 21 EMA cross over and signal a downtrend, and it's already currently in a downtrend. So this could just be like a slight pullback going into the downtrend. Okay? Now what I will say is, here's what I will say, and here's what's good about AMD right now. All right. All right, so here's what's good about AMD. If you look at this, let me delete these. All right, if you look at this right here, this is a trend line to the downside, right? All right, boom. And then we got this right here, right? Boom. All right. So because we got that, and then it broke out. So it broke out past $100 and it came all the way up to 122 and then rejected, right? So it created a higher high on AMD. So we gonna see if it creates a higher low. Now for AMD, for it to create a higher low, it just needs to reverse anywhere above $76, right? So if it could come down here to 102, and if it bounce off like this 200 EMA, I mean this 50 EMA right here at 104, and then it start to go up, then it should go up and it should go higher than 122, which would be the next higher high. Okay? So that's what I see with AMD. All right? Like right now, I think that it could come down to that 104, but then we could see a bounce right there and then go to the upside. All right. So yeah, retest and then line them up. Yep. Exactly. So let's look at Somebody said Apple. I need to call Shelly downstairs so she could give y'all a dissertation on Apple. Hey, if you're not in the Discord, man, be sure to join the Discord, all right? We're going to trade in there every single day. Let's look at, I was just looking at Enphase, Marcia. Let's look at Enphase, and then we're going to look at Palantir next. All right, look at them. So let's look at Enphase real quick. All right. So Enphase is looking ridiculous. All right. So this is the daily time frame. All right, this is the daily time frame. So let's do this. So Enphase was up here at 125, right? So let's start from right here at about 90 bucks. Let's draw this trend line right here. Boom, right? All right. So we got that trend line. And then we got right here. Okay, so that was right there. All right. So, and then let's see. Do I see a gap right here? Yeah, so we got a gap. So obviously, I believe something happened with earnings, if I'm not mistaken. So now, I got to zoom in some more so I can see the candles. Okay, so it's still in the downtrend. 9 is above the 21, and 21 is above the 9 right there. We got a massive gap to fill up to $47. All right. Boom. So we got a gap to fill here. All right. But, and then it's right here. Now, let me see. So this is the previous low. Let me look at it. So right here. So this is the previous low. You could look at this as a low as well. But, so if, boom. Nah, this is the previous low. So I don't even see bullish divergence either. So I think that Enphase, like, if it seems like it's very, very, very beat up. Like the 200 EMA is all the way over here. The 200 EMA is at $72. But as you can see, it's not even oversold yet. So I think that Enphase could still come down. I think that Enphase is still going to come down maybe a little bit more because it ain't even oversold yet, being at $32. All right, so I don't think that investors are too worried about them. Honestly, it could fill this gap right here, but we would just have to play it. Like you gotta just like pay attention to it tomorrow and see where it comes up to. So right now, let's look at Enphase and see where it's at. Right now, Enphase is at ENPH. Right now, Enphase is at $40. Okay, so it's at $40.24, which is right here. So it's not inside of the gap yet. If you see it go inside of this gap, inside of 40, above 40.60, then you could probably trade it and it could come up to like $44 this week, but we got to see. Okay, but outside of that, it's going to come down some more. All right, but this could be a low and it could kind of come up here and then it could reject here and then come back down even lower. All right. So that's what I'm seeing with Enphase. Now, if you don't really know what Enphase is, I used to sell solar, right? And we used Enphase inverters. So the product is very good, but the industry is struggling right now in certain states, right? So that's why they took such a hit, right? That's why they took such a hit with their share prices, because the industry as a whole dried up last year, right? The industry as a whole dried up last year. Like solar is not booming like it was. Like California, solar is booming. Because last year when I was in solar before I quit, in Nevada, it was not going crazy. In 2023, it was going bonkers. And that's why if you look at the stock price on Enphase in 2023 and 2022, it was going crazy because everybody across the nation was using Enphase. The installers was using Enphase and using those inverters, right, for their customers. But things have slowed down tremendously, right? So yeah, like that's why Enphase is taking a beating right now. And if things don't change, Enphase could damn near become a penny stock almost, right? Like it's gonna have to recover in some way, but I don't know how. With what's going on in the economy, right? Solar ain't it right now. Ain't nobody worried about solar like that. You got to be able to offer more than just solar, right? And take this from somebody that was going door to door, knocking and selling solar. I was really doing that. We were using Enphase. We were using the inverters, right? So that's just something to pay attention to. All right. So yeah. Best B said, it's like Isiah, I got a question. Can you move aside so I can ask Charlie about Apple? I know, right? Let me look. I ain't even gonna say nothing about Apple. When she want to make her debut, right? I'm gonna let her do her thing on Apple. All right. But look, I'll turn this camera off. I ain't gonna stop hearing about Apple. I ain't gonna stop hearing about Apple. All right, but she don't want to get in front of the camera though. So yeah. We'll do Palantir. Oh yeah, LMT. So we'll do Palantir first and then LMT, Lockheed Martin. All right, so let's do Palantir real quick. All right. All right. So here we go. All right. So Palantir. All right. So just like first hand, it looked like it want to come down a little bit more, potentially to like this 118-ish range. But it's up right now after hours. Let's go to the weekly real quick. On the weekly. So this could just be a pullback on the weekly. And then we could try to create new all-time highs right here. But if we reject, then we could come down to like 110 and then bounce off of here and then go up. Because I want you guys to pay attention to this right here, right? When you're in an uptrend and you just come down to a 9 EMA and bounce off, that's beautiful because that just sets you up to keep going higher. All right, just look at how Palantir has been respecting this 9 EMA. Only time it went below it was back in March, and then it came right back above. But outside of that, it's been around that 9 EMA. It hasn't really broke below the 21 in a long time. Besides right here, it hasn't gotten below that right there. It really has never, right? So it has had like kind of minimal pullbacks outside of this. So it's already above the 9 right here. So it could come down to like 110, 112. But it's looking like this was just a pullback on the weekly. But on a daily, it looks like it wants to come down a little bit more, right? Because we have moves to the upside, and then the body of the candle was getting smaller. And then we had some red come in, and then we got a gravestone doji. Buyers tried to come up, sellers stepped in. So this is what I'm saying. I'm really thinking that the market is like a little bit exhausted and it wants to come back down a little bit more. All right. So So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about for Palantir. With a lot of these stocks, you gotta just sometimes you gotta play this stuff by ear. All right, and you gotta pay attention to the daily time frame every day throughout the week so that you can see what's going on. All right. Now, Palantir had a lot of sell off last week. They had a lot of top executive sell off shares at the same time. Yeah, yeah, and they're gonna it's gonna be a little bit more of that too. All right. So when you see all these, these people selling off shares, just because the stock didn't drop that day, don't mean the next week it ain't gonna drop. You feel me? So they just got out before the real drop happens. You see what I'm saying? So so yeah, I'm about to do Lockheed Martin right now. Be sure to like this video, y'all. Let's get this video to 100 likes. And then also, if you have not, join the Discord and come trade with us every single day. We also call our swing trades as well. All right, so be sure to join that. All right, you get a free 7-day trial also. So click the link in this description for this video or any of my videos, and make sure you come and join the Discord. All right, so that we could get this money together. All right, what's up, trees? Now, Lockheed Martin. All right, of course, Joshua. Let's go with Lockheed Martin. All right. LMT. All right. So let's see. So Lockheed Martin. Let's see what they looking like. Okay. All right. So it looked like it want to start coming down just off of what I'm seeing first thing, right? Because we had, so look at Lockheed, right? Came down, came up, came down, came up, came down right here, came up, consolidated, peaked right here, came down, tried to come up, rejected off the 200, and it came down, right? Now it came up right here, rejected, and now it's right here, but look at this. Look at this right here. That 9 and that 21 EMA, they look like they about to cross over. So if this 21 EMA ends up going above the 9 EMA, looking like this right here, then LMT is going to come back down potentially to like 444, right? To test this low right here, okay? So look at things as a trend, right? So it's kind of like chopping sideways right now. So as you can see, you got this level right here, right? You got this level right here where the stocks do come here and then they bounce up, right? Every time it comes around this level, it bounces up. Like right there, that's a bounce. But when it breaks below, it comes down to right here. So if you see Lockheed Martin come below here, then most likely it's going to come down to 445 or lower. It could come down to 418, right? It's not overbought or oversold. It's kind of right there in the middle. So it could go any way. But because it came up here and it just rejected, if we get below right here, 464, then I think that we could be coming down right here to 444, 445. All right. Now, let me say this right here. All right, let me say this. It's important to understand what stocks you want to day trade and what stocks you want to swing trade. All right. I'm going to be the first to tell you, Lockheed Martin is not a stock that you want to day trade. I'm going to just keep it real. I've traded them. I've day traded Lockheed Martin. They move funny. Their spreads are astronomical. Okay. Astronomical. I'm talking about $1.10 spreads. All right. So you get in that play, immediately you down $150 and you're like, what's going on? Right? So Lockheed Martin is not a stock that you want to day trade. It is more so of a swing trade type of stock, because you want to be able to get a big move so that way when it is time to get filled, you up. Okay? So I just want to make sure I'm giving y'all the real, right? Because look at this. Let me show y'all. Because people be thinking I'll be just, Like, I ain't just out here just talking, right? Watch this. Best B said they know something might be coming. What you mean? Who knows something might be coming? What did you see that made you say that? So let's look, y'all. Check this out. This is what I mean, Adam. Look at this. I'm gonna share my screen, right? You see these right here. So this is May 30th expiration. That's this week, right? Look at the spreads. The bid is $6.70 and the ask is $9. That's $2.30 right there. Okay? This one, $2.85 and 6. That's almost 4 points. That's a wide spread. So what if you try to get in a trade at, you think you getting in at 285, but you really get in at 4, but currently the stock is trading at 390 or 380.82. You already down in your trade. This is a stock that you want to swing trade, so that way you could get in at the right price and you could get out at the right price and you can make your money. All right? Real talk. Exactly. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. Like, the setups could be there, but it could be the wrong stock on a day trade. You want to pay attention to the spread. So before you start day trading certain stocks that you're unfamiliar with, go look at the spreads. Go on Webull and look at the spreads. Go look at the spreads. Because nothing that I'm saying is just because. You feel me? I have got put in the blender on LMT before. I have had to sit in a trade for 2 hours. I remember one time I was sitting in that trade for 2 hours just to make $10 because my spread. I got in and I was down $400. Literally. I was mad. It's like, damn. But that was a lesson I learned about spreads. Okay? So that's why a lot of times, look, go look at the stocks I trade. If you're in a Discord, pay attention to the stocks I trade, Marcel trade. The spreads are very tight. I will not trade a stock with wide spreads. If I do, I'm not going to call it in the Discord. I'll take that trade on my own, right? Because I don't want to put other people in that position, in that situation, right? So pay attention to those spreads. The wider the spread, the less liquidity, the less that stock is being traded, the less people want that contract. And so you could run into some issues even getting out, because you could get in, but what about getting out? That's what you got to think about. All right. So yeah, pay attention to that, Adam. I'm not saying don't trade, but you want to be able to understand what stocks do I day trade and scalp trade, and what stocks do I swing trade. Okay. Another great example of that is Spotify, right? Spotify moves big, okay? Spotify moves big, but they got $3, $4 spreads as well. So you don't want to day trade them. You don't want to scalp trade them. They are more of a leap or a swing trade, right? So that way it can make the big move and you could be up no matter what, right? Yeah, I learned my lesson with Lilly. Oh yeah, Eli Lilly. Yeah. Yo, them stocks that move big don't always be the best. That's why, listen, I don't care how much money I make, I'ma still be day trading Robinhood. Because them contracts be $150. So I could go get 80 contracts, right? And go make good money, right? So I like trading stocks that are a little bit cheaper per contract, because I feel like I can control my outcome better and I can control my return better. All right. Northern Indiana with them spreads, sometimes you take profit thinking you're at 15%. Yep, exactly. Exactly. It's true about them spreads. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, just pay attention to that, y'all. Like, pay attention to that. All right. What's up, Sunshine Chick? How you doing? Yeah, pay attention to that, y'all. All right. Don't get caught up in chasing these stocks. You gotta know the craft. All right, you gotta know the craft. All right, make sure you guys paying attention. In the money, out the money, at the money, all of those small things, right? Like, just keep it simple so that you can focus on the right things. All right, but me personally, I do think the market is gonna be coming down a little bit more. I know we up right now in after hours. I know they say futures is up 400 points, but I personally think that the stock market is gonna be coming down. And I think that it's going to be a rug pull and people ain't going to be able to see it. That's just what I think. It may not happen immediately, but I think that we're going to get a strong pullback over the next, week or two. And then we can start going to the upside, right? But as long as these tariffs is hovering over our head and we going up and down, I think that we're going to see some downside action. That's just me. That's just what I'm seeing. When I'm studying, when I'm looking at the market, when I'm looking at the technicals, right? I'm not paying attention. When I'm not paying attention to the news and I'm looking at the technicals, I'm trusting my technical analysis. And that's why it's so important. Because the technical analysis will lead you into the news. So you could basically predict things. All right? So keep all those things in mind. Make sure y'all stay sharp. If you are not in the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. First thing, we're going to be there first thing in the morning. We're going to be trading. We're going to be getting some money. And we're going to be enjoying life. All right? So like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head and go get into this world because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right? And also remember, I always say the more you study, the less you worry. All right? I got a vlog I'm about to drop. Over the weekend, this coming up weekend. We was in Panama, so be sure to tap into that because it's gonna be my best vlog yet. All right, real talk. So yeah, y'all, that's a cool hat you got there. Yeah, all right, we're gonna talk about it in Discord tomorrow, man. We're gonna get some money, and then yeah. My bad, y'all. My bad. Sound going in and out. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great week. All right, I hope everybody has a great week this week. I hope you guys got value from this today as well. All right, and make sure that I always say, do not get tricked out of your position. All right, do not get tricked out of your position. All right, the reason why when you swing trading, you're going to lose most of your money when you're getting tricked out of your position. If you got 2 months on your expiration date and you down 25, 35%, right? But you know what the technical analysis is telling you, you got to trust that technical analysis. All right? Do not get tricked out of your position. I cannot say that. I've gotten tricked out of my positions before. I have gotten tricked out of so many positions in my journey, all because I was paying attention to the news and the fear mongering. All right? To the upside and the downside. I have been tricked out of my position. I do not want you to get tricked out of your position. All right? So make sure y'all you have patience, you got discipline, and you understand what's going on in the market. All right? And make sure you give yourself time in your swing trades. If you give yourself enough time in your swing trades, you will be able to print as much money as you want. And I'm telling you guys this as an absolute fact. All right? So, hey, William, we keep that peace and profits for the Discord. That's a Discord exclusive. That's a prosperity exclusive right there, all right? All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at you guys tomorrow. Be sure to join the Discord. I hope y'all got value out of this video. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get some rest. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great night. And let's have a great week in the market this week. All right? Peace.